We started speaking yesterday about why Mao Tzur discusses all of the gulas of Klal Yisrael from Pesach until today, including and going through Hanukkah. Why not just mention Hanukkah? Why mention all the gulas? And I was zeicha yesterday to give a class in Atlanta, Georgia, to the students of one of my close talmidim, Rabbi Avram Purton, and we were discussing together in the class this question. And Rabbi Purton came up with a brilliant answer, which I think is Emes Lamit. I want to share with you today. I think it's a major message of Hanukkah. It's quite simple why on Pesach we don't mention all the miracles chronologically because they hadn't happened yet, and so too on Purim and so too by Babel. Right? Hanukkah is the last of the Yomim Tovim. It's the last of the Yom Tovim. Hanukkah is the time when, as it were, it was finished. Yeah, it was finished. It was the last established Yontif officially by Chazal, and therefore, at that point, when we look back at the history of Klal Yisrael, at Pesach, Yetzias Mitzrayim, and then goes Bavel, and then Prasamadai, and then Yavin, Edom, uh, um, Edom, right? And until today, we look back at everything. And Hanukkah is the time when basically the Magal, the circle of events, finished, as it were, and we could look back and see all of the miracles that we have for Klal Yisrael. And in fact, this is what the post we mentioned yesterday, the halacha. When you come to a place where you have a nace, you mention all the miracles. So there's a big question in halacha. If I come to the a place which I mentioned, do I have to make the bracha? It's a suffix in the poskim. It's a question that the post can deal with. And some say you do, some say you don't. But the point is that the bracha is not just on the miracle that happens. It's on the whole hashkocha. It's on the whole providence of Hashem on the Jewish people is miraculous. Hashem doesn't just do miracles occasionally. Hashem does do miracles every single second, as the Ramban says. Every single second of the existence of Jewish people is a miracle. Rabbi Yaakov Emden said the greatest miracle that exists is the kiyum, the perpetuation of the Jewish people amongst all the persecution. We have countries all around us want to destroy us. In fact, when the state of Israel was proclaimed, we were attacked from all sides. And it's a tremendous miracle that we exist and we continue and we perpetuate. And this is the story of the Jewish people. And this is what's behind Ma'at Tzor. That when we mention the miracle of Hanukkah, we don't just mention Hanukkah, we mention all of the Gullus, all of the Aspers and the redemptions that we had, because this is the essence of the Jewish people. The essence of the Jewish people is that Hashem is constantly with us. And whether it seems like it's really, really hard, or whether it seems like it's going in incredibly open fashion of Hashem's providence over us, He's always there with us, either when it looks good or when it looks bad. Right? He's always there with us. He's always guiding us. He's always protecting us in a miraculous fashion. But we have to see it. And the time we see it the most clearly is when we step back at the end and we see the entire gamut of all things. And this is going to be Zos Chanukah. Zos Chanukah is the time when we'll look back and see all 8 days and realize the tremendous potential, the tremendous potency of this miracle. There's an interesting diuk that's you could find in the Rif. The Rif, when he brings the halachas of Chanukah, he says Kavash Yom Elu Yomim Toivim Shel Ha'alvadah. Every single day of Chanukah is a different yontif. There's yontif for the first candle, second candle, the third candle. Every day of the Nes of Chanukah was an increase, was another miracle, was a separate miracle by itself, and it's coming to teach us that everything is miraculous. Everything Hashem does is miraculous, and no matter what we're going through, no matter how difficult our situation, no matter what our challenges are, right? I was on the phone yesterday with someone talking about a certain soyan and I said what I had heard right here in this spot a number of years ago from Rav Moshe Shapiro Zatzal. His yard is coming up soon on Asar B'Tevas. He said, I told him about a certain problem. He said, this problem is impossible. There's no solution whatsoever to this issue. And then he stopped for a second. He said, Rak tefillah v'zeh yazor. Only prayer, and it will definitely help. Definitely help. Yeah? This is what Hashem wants. Hashem wants us to turn to Him. Hashem puts us into the most thorny, difficult, complicated, crazy situations. Yeah, He'll send us deep, deep down into the deepest pits of Gehenna, so we should beg Him to get us out. Yeah, and this is what the Zohar says in the beginning of the Zohar, in the introduction to Chesed Aleph, Chesed Beis. Why does Hashem do this to us? He wants Rechim Shlem. He wants complete love. He wants us to love Him no matter what happens, no matter what the situation, no matter where we find ourselves. Complete love of the Bari Olam, and trust. Yeah, trust. To trust in Him that no matter what we think in our puny brains, yeah, our brains are puny. We understand nothing, right? Is that Hashem's understanding is much greater, and if He put us there, it's for a reason. As the Chavetz Chaim says, Hashem put us in this place, right, where we are right now. It might seem that it's insanity. How can I be here? What does Hashem have in mind with this situation? Yeah, and the answer is one thing. He want Rachmana Liba boy. Hashem wants your heart, and the way He gets our hearts is when He puts us in these situations and we trust Him. And this is the Yom Tov of Chanukah. It looked like the end of the Jewish people. It looked like everybody was assimilating. Everyone was Messiavnim. The rove, the great majority of the Jewish people had already fallen, had already succumbed to the temptation of the Greeks. Yeah, as Rabbi Yehuda Levi writes, he says, "Don't be dragged, don't be pulled after, seduced by Chachmas Yivanis. It's a flower without fruit, right? It looks beautiful, it looks enticing, just so sophisticated, so deep, so philosophical. But in the end, they'll wither and there'll be no fruit, right? And this is the message of the Yom Tov of Chanukah, right? That don't be fooled by the severity, by the difficulty, by the hopelessness of the situation, right? And this is why on Hanukkah we look back, when we sing Mount we look back at the 3,000 years of persecution and of miracles, yeah, that we've experienced, and we realize it's about to end any day now, right? Any day now, as Rashi says in Yechezkel, we're going to look up in the sky right here at the Kosel, and we're going to see like a little thing, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it's going to fall onto the Arab mosque and just squat it, and there'll be a base of English there, right? Whether it's meant to be taken literally, whether it's not meant to be taken literally, whatever it means, it's going to happen, and it's going to happen soon, right? And we all have to prepare ourselves. It's incumbent on each and every person to prepare themselves for Mashiach, because it's going to come quickly, and it's terrifying. It's like the blink of an eye. It'll be here before you know it. As my Rebbe, Rav Moshe Sternbach, the Gaivid, the Ravid, I want to get it mixed up. The Ravid says, he says, Hashem is waiting for one thing, one person to do one incredible act, and that's going to be the Makkah, right? He said, and it could be you. Anyone listening to share, it could be them, any man, woman, or child even. Hashem was waiting for one powerful act. The Beis Hamikdash is hanging in Shemayim by a thread, and just someone has to come and cut the thread, right? And that's a very powerful act that Hashem was waiting for it to be the Makro Patish, the Gula, and everyone listening could be the one to bring the Gula. You, and I mean you, the person who's listening right now, you could be the one to bring the Gula, and Bezrat Hashem, you will. Yeah, you will. All you have to do is one thing: you have to want it. So look at these 4 lights here over the menorah. They realized I'm giving shir, so they barred it off for people like me. And understand that it's in your hands. As the Rambam Paskins Hilchos Tshuva, look at the world as chetzi zakei chetzi chayiv, one act, and you could sway the whole world. And this is what Rosh Hashanah said. Right now, the world is tottering. Yeah, we're on the brink, what's called the saf. We're on the saf of the Gula. Hashem is waiting to bring the Gula, especially now. Chanukah is a time which is apropos for Gula. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should help us. He should inspire us. He should lift up our hearts and our minds and dedicate our hearts to Hashem. And Bezrat Hashem, as close to that, we should see the Geula very, very soon. Amen. Kain. T.A. Ratzon.